Aiden Thummel joined us now for the Central Cast Boys Wrestling program here for our state preview. And Aiden, how fun has this season been for you, competing at a different level from the B to the A in terms of just seeing everybody compete at the EDC level and, able to make it to the, state tournament on the dual side this year? How much fun have you had so far this season, Aiden?
I feel like I've had a lot of fun this year. I've had a lot of close matches, just kept it exciting.
And what does it mean for you to, make it to that state tournament with this team, on the dual side your very first year?
Um, like shows that we have like a chance against all the other guys and we're not to be taken for granted.
Favorite memory so far, Aiden? What kind of comes to mind when you think of Central Cast Wrestling? What's a favorite memory or two that you have?
Um, I don't know. There's a lot of them. Probably just any of the duels, like when they're close, gets like there's like a tension with everything, and then like everybody's just cheering each other on.
Yeah, I've been able to have a couple close duels so far this season as well in the EDC.
Yeah.
What's a particular subject or what's a particular class that you've enjoyed most studying here at Central Cast?
Um, I like world geography a lot. It's pretty fun.
And from that standpoint, Aiden, what is a trader characteristic that you enjoy most about this team for Central Cast? What's something you enjoy most about wrestling with your fellow teammates?
The criticism you get like when you're slacking off, like everybody keeps everybody held accountable.
And then what are you most looking forward to once you get to the Fargo there for that dual meet?
Um, just take on what's coming at us and then just bounce back if anything bad happens.
Aiden, thanks so much for your time and best of luck moving forward.
All right, thank you.
McCoy Ferguson joined us now here for Central Cast Wrestling. McCoy, what have you enjoyed most about your time with this wrestling program? What have you enjoyed most about being a Central Cast Squirrel wrestler?
I'd probably say just hanging out with like my friends and getting to travel around the state.
Let's say about that travel. What's a tournament or two that you've enjoyed the most traveling outside of Castleton?
Um, Probably when we went up to Minot, it was pretty far away, but it was fun because we all got to stay the night and hang out.
Do you enjoy most more meets where you get to see, East-West competition, maybe some wrestlers from different states, or do you enjoy the meets where, you're kind of going up against your old rivals, so to speak? What do you enjoy most when it comes to that part of wrestling?
I probably enjoy where I know a couple people at the tournaments because it's nice to see some different faces every now and then.
How excited are you to kind of get to the Fargo for that state tournament? What do you enjoy most as you kind of get to state?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about the Fargo Dome. It's going to be a lot of wrestling, and I'm pretty excited to hang out with the team and see how they do.
From there, favorite class subject, what kind of comes to mind? What's one or two of your favorite class subjects in school?
Um, Not math, probably English or something. Math's definitely not it.
And are you superstitious at all? Do you have to do anything particular here, McCoy, before you kind of get to, the wrestling mat or do anything with your particular match that evening?
No, not really. Just go out and wrestle my match.
And then on the dual side, what do you enjoy more? Do you enjoy the duels a little bit more with that team environment? Do you enjoy the individual? What do you kind of enjoy more if you had to take a particular, tournament?
Yeah, I think I enjoy the duels most because like you're more rooting for your team and it's you get in and you get out, like everybody wrestles and then we get to leave instead of sitting there for 9 hours.
And McCoy, what do you hope to take from wrestling, or what are you taking from wrestling kind of into your normal day to day, whether it's school or just, being with family and friends?
Yeah, probably just like the teamwork and just staying with everybody.
McCoy, thanks so much for your time and best of luck moving forward.
Thank you.
Emma Schneider joined us now with the Central Cast Girls Wrestling program here. Emma, how much fun and what are some memories that you've kind of made so far here this season with Central Cast Girls Wrestling?
The season's really fun. We are like a little family on the girls' team. One of my favorite memories is probably in the room, just like goofing around, and not taking it so serious, like we're on the mat. even though we do have to like try hard and all that stuff, or we're not going to do good on the mat. But just like talking to everyone is so nice.
For you, Emma, what was the reason that you kind of went out for girls wrestling? What kind of made you, take that advantage and give it a shot?
I think my first year, my sister was in it, and my mom wasn't letting me go in there because she thought I was too weak. So I convinced her after like 2 months of asking her, and I finally got in wrestling.
So what have you enjoyed most just about wrestling just in general here, Emma?
Probably making a lot of memories and winning. Yeah.
Is there a particular tournament that comes to mind more so when you compete at that you kind of enjoy once you saw it on the schedule compared to others?
I think Belly of a Brawl, because it's only girls, so it's kind of like focused on one group of wrestling, and it doesn't take so long because there's not boys.
Take us through Bell of the Brawl here this year. What did you enjoy most about that particular tournament, with it being, again, the most girls wrestlers, and that over 300 there in Castleton? What did you enjoy most here, Emma?
I think I enjoyed meeting a lot of new people and wrestling the hardest I can.
What are you looking forward to most once you get to the Fargo Dome and State?
Probably just wrestling and wrestling match by match, and not focusing on my losses and focusing on my wins.
When the dual team was able to win the East Region championship, just take us through what was kind of going on through your mind, some of the emotions, able to win that in Castleton.
It was nice because it was home, like in our gym. So we kind of showed everyone like this is our gym that we're wrestling in, and we're going to win it.
Emma, thanks so much for your time and best of luck moving forward.
Thank you.
Carter Savvy joined us now from the Central Cass State Wrestling Preview Show here. Carter, what have you most enjoyed about this version of the 2023-24 Central Cass Wrestling team so far?
I think there's a lot we need to improve on, but I think most of it's good, and I'm just glad we made it to the state tournament as a dual team.
Yeah, take us through that state dual team when you knew that you're heading there. How much fun was that, and kind of accomplishing a goal for you this season here, Carter? How much fun was it to know that this team is, heading together for at least another weekend again as that team dual side?
I don't know. I think it's really, really good. I think it's fun. We all really get together well, so I think it's just another weekend for the team.
Up to this point, Carter, what's been your favorite memory with Central Cass Wrestling?
Wait, my favorite moment, you said?
Yep.
Favorite moment is probably wrestling with my buddies in the wrestling room, getting better, and competing.
And competing, is there a particular tournament so far this year that you enjoyed the most, Letterman's or something in between? What's one of those tournaments that you just enjoy competing at from a wrestler point of view?
I'd probably say either the rugby tournament or the Letterman's tournament. I think those are my two favorite.
What makes the rugby and Letterman's tournament just kind of stand out compared to some of the other ones?
I think the rugby tournament, for me anyway, it's been hard these past couple of years. So I think it's really good getting to see kids that are better, higher seated, and it's good to compete against them.
And from that point, what makes the Letterman's one just kind of stand out? Obviously, it's your home one here, Carter, but what makes it also stand out outside of it just kind of being in your backyard?
I think it's awesome because every like families, I don't know, everybody really gets together, and cleaning up sucks, but it's definitely, yeah, that's all I got about it. What's a trait or characteristic that
best describes this year's team? What kind of comes to mind about Central Cass Wrestling?
Work. I mean, it's a lot of work and effort, but I think it's worth it. I think it's paid off to the point, but we just gotta keep putting in work and see how this weekend takes us.
Final thing for you, Carter. What are you looking forward to most once you get to that Fargo Dome?
I'm looking forward to seeing family, competing, and I don't know, just going out there trying my best.
Carter, thanks so much for your time and best of luck moving forward.
Thank you.
Isabelle Duchuk joined us now from the Central Cast girls wrestling program here. And Isabelle, able to take the #1 seed from a dual perspective into that state tournament after winning on your home turf on that East Region championship. What did it mean to do that, in Castleton on your home mat to come out as the East Region champs here, Isabelle?
Yeah, it was an amazing experience to be first in duels again for the second year. And even if you lose a match, it's just so amazing to be able to see all your teammates come together and be able to win against the other team. And even if you lose, it's just so exciting to watch your whole team win and experience that. It's just so much fun to support them.
Take us through the season back in November to where we are now. How have you seen this team grow, but also this team just come together and fill out some roles and weight classes along the way to where you are entering as a 1 seed? Just take us kind of through the journey a little bit here. What have you enjoyed the most about this season?
Yeah, we've had a couple girls move around, and we've even gained some more girls throughout the season than from when we started. And we've just seen so much improvement in rankings and how everyone performs, and even their mindsets in the room of how they want their career to go. And you can just see the way they work in the room change.
Isabelle, how have you seen the growth of girls wrestling just in Castleton, not just across the state? I mean, there's over 300 some wrestlers at the Bell of the Brawl a couple of weeks ago, which was fun to see. But how have you just seen it grow within your own program?
Yeah, our program is huge, and our girls that started interested have remained interested, and they just love the sport so much that they try to get other girls to join and recruit them so we can keep our team going and we can continue our legacy throughout the years to show that we do need to be looked out for, and Central Cast can hold its name as, oh, that's Central Cast, we need to look out for them.
A particular memory that comes to mind, it might be on the individual side, it could be on the dual side, maybe it's just a practice. So what's a memory or two, Isabelle, that comes to mind that you enjoyed the most?
Well, my favorite thing about wrestling is after state, we hold a party, and Trav talks about the seniors, and he remembers every silly thing they've done throughout the whole time they've been with Trav, and he brings those memories up and gives funny gifts to the whole team.
And from that standpoint, is there a particular tournament that you've enjoyed? I know the Bell is fairly new, but we've seen it grow, obviously, to get a lot of wrestlers in. But is there a particular tournament on the girls' side that when you see that schedule that you kind of circle and say, I know this is going to be fun?
My favorite is Letterman's, because I know Bell of the Brawl is really fun too, but I love and supporting the boys as well. And we're all a whole close-knit team where we all work together, and it's fun to get to watch the boys in between too.
What makes February wrestling so much fun? Obviously, it could be a little anxious or nervous at time too, but what makes it so much fun or unique compared to any other time throughout the season?
Yeah, I think it is a lot more exciting because the pressure is on when you're out there on the mat wrestling, and you know you need to be at your top performance. And even in practice, when you're running halls or in the room, you need to be going 100%. Like, I run a lot faster than I did it in the beginning of the season because I know I need to be a lot stronger and have a lot more endurance. And you see that every time you wrestle. If only I could have ran faster in halls and did 100% on this takedown in the room.
Final thing for you, superstitious at all? Do you have to listen to certain music, have a certain sandwich, or put the left shoe on before the right before you get to any particular wrestling for the day?
I don't listen to any music. I don't think I have any superstitions.
All right. It keeps it simple. Just let's get right to the mat, right?
Yeah.
Isabelle, thanks so much for your time and best of luck moving forward.
Thank you.
Joining us now from Central Cast Girls Wrestling, she is Lincoln with us here. Lincoln, what does it mean for this year's team to head to the state tournament on the dual side as the East Region champ? Just kind of take us through what does it mean for you in this year's club?
Honestly, it's just like we're like gonna go out there, have fun, but also it's like a big deal, I guess.
And to do it on, your home mat too, how much fun was that particular, weekend to, win a East Region championship on your home mat on that Friday?
I don't know. It was just really fun. It's my first year. It was fun. Yeah.
And you're being at your first year here, Lincoln. What have you kind of learned most so far in wrestling so far this season, from when you got your first practices in November to kind of where you are now? Where have you kind of seen your growth, so to speak, as a wrestler?
It's mental, physical, but it's also really fun and like you're gonna have losses, but you're also gonna have wins. And when you lose, just like forget about it because you're gonna have more and you're gonna get better.
Why should someone come out for girls wrestling, Lincoln, if they haven't done it before?
Because it's just fun. It's like a family and you make friends. It's so fun.
And is there a memory or two that kind of comes to mind this year that you enjoyed, that kind of steps to mind, in terms of a particular tournament? Maybe it's travel. What kind of comes to mind here, Lincoln, for a favorite memory or two?
When we went to store off and we won it, and one of our coaches was just so excited about it, and it's so fun.
So, from your point of view, what's something that you've learned from wrestling that you kind of are taking with you, in your normal day-to-day lifestyle now, Lincoln?
It's just like with you, let's say get a bad grade on tests, it's just like, yeah, you got a bad grade, but you can do better from it because you can like figure out ways that you need to like get better at it. So
Lincoln, thanks so much for your time and best of luck moving forward.
thank you.
Ivy Guy joining us now from the Central Cass Girls Wrestling program here. Ivy, what have you enjoyed most so far this season with Central Cass Girls Wrestling?
I would say just hanging out with all the other girls, watching them wrestle. It's a really nice time.
And then what have you kind of taken from wrestling to your normal day-to-day life? What's one thing that you've kind of learned in wrestling that you've kind of taken with you, outside the wrestling room?
I would say maybe like teamwork and I don't know, just like yeah.
What are you enjoying? What are you most looking forward to heading to the Fargo Dome coming up for that state tournament?
I'm just hoping that me and the whole team does really well. We get a lot of pins and we're just winning by points. Just yeah.
Is there a particular subject in school that you kind of enjoy more so than others?
I would say gym.
Okay. Is there a particular sport in gym that you enjoy most, Ivy?
I would say volleyball.
Okay. And then from that point, Ivy, is there a particular tournament that you competed in this year that you enjoyed more than other ones, whether it was Bell the Brawl, Store Hog, or something in between?
Yeah, I would say Bell the Brawl because I got my first pin there.
Take us through your first pin at Bell the Brawl. What was kind of the move that you were able to use, and just kind of take us through that match?
Well, she was kind of easy to go against, and I just got her down in 3.5.
And then once you heard the whistle with that, come down with that pin, what was kind of going through your mind?
I was shocked, honestly, but I was really proud of myself and happy that I got that pin.
Ivy, why should someone come out for girls wrestling that's maybe thinking about if they should maybe do it or not? What's the reasoning that they should come out for it?
It's a really amazing sport. It's different than all the other sports. You have a lot of fun and yeah.
It should be good. Ivy, thanks so much for your time and best of luck moving forward.
Okay, thank you.
Emerson Filati joining us now for our Central Cass Girls Wrestling preview show here in Emerson. To be the #1 team from the East heading to state on that dual side, what does it mean to you?
I feel like it means a lot because we get that recognition, and to see how girls can do things that aren't as common as they used to be. So I feel like that it's really nice to get girls wrestling out.
Yeah, what have you enjoyed most about your time with Central Cass Girls Wrestling here, Emerson?
Definitely the connection that we have with everyone. Everyone is so close and we love each other and we can goof around at practice and we can still get work done. So I feel like it's just having that connection with our team.
Is there a particular tournament that you've enjoyed most compared to others competing in throughout your time?
I like Storehog because it's close to home, but it's not too far. We don't have to clean up, so it's perfect. And it's usually one of the shorter tournaments.
Yeah, and on top of that, too, I'm sure you get to see some really good competition. Just how has girls' competition, Emerson, evolved here over the last, year or two from your standpoint that you're seeing on the mat that you're going up against on a night in, night out basis?
Yeah, competition has been pretty good lately. Um, there's not a whole ton of girls in my weight class, like except for the more common weight classes. But it's really nice to get those matches in when you can. And sometimes it's really nice to see those new faces because for my weight class, it's been very repetitive. So it's nice to see those new faces in competition.
What do you hope to take from wrestling to your normal, so to speak, day-to-day lifestyle here, Emerson? What have you kind of learned?
Definitely my mentality and being able to accept that I can do hard things. And just trying to take a credibility for myself. I feel like I will definitely be taking.
A favorite subject or favorite class that you've taken so far here at Central Cass?
Math.
Math, like algebra. What are we talking about at this point?
I'm taking Algebra 2 currently.
Okay, got it. From there, last thing for you, Emerson, how much are you looking forward to just competing at the Fargo Dome? What are you looking forward to most, so to speak, once you get to the Dome?
Yeah, I'm very excited to compete at the Fargo Dome for state for our dual team. I'm most excited for probably the crowd and the environment that it's going to be around and the competition and being able to see everyone at the Fargo Dome.
Emerson, thanks so much for your time and best of luck moving forward.
Thank you.
Isabelle Dutt joined us now on our Central Cass Girls Wrestling Preview Show. And Isabelle, what does it mean for you and this team to go to that dual tournament as the number one seed from the East?
Yeah, it means so much to us. I mean, we all worked really hard at this, and we've been working all season to prove that we're the best, and we definitely did that. We got the first seed, and we're looking good.
Take us through that East Region dual tournament to win that on, your home mat too. Just take us through what that day kind of was like for you here, Isabelle.
It actually felt way quicker than it probably was. We worked really hard, and we didn't give up very many pins, so it's awesome. We're all really proud of each other.
What, as a wrestler, what do you enjoy most, or what are you looking forward to most once you kind of get to that Fargo Dome at that state tournament environment?
I really like wrestling at the Fargo Dome. I mean, it's definitely a challenge, but it's a challenge that I enjoy. I like all the familiar faces that show up to support, all the red.
And from there, is there a particular tournament throughout the year that you kind of circle that you kind of, so to speak, get up for or enjoy a little bit more because it's a tournament that you enjoy competing in?
Yeah, I actually really like Belle of the Brawl. It's one of my favorites, despite the cleaning up afterwards.
Well, take us through the Belle of the Brawl, right? I mean, just a couple of years ago, there was not going to be 300, girl wrestlers compared to what it was this year. So how much fun is it just to see that competition and girls wrestling in general, whether it's the Belle or in general here, Isabelle, just continue to grow?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun watching girls. The division has grown so much. I mean, just in the 2 years that I've been here, it's grown so much. And I actually love seeing new faces and being able to wrestle new girls because it's great competition. I love seeing everybody.
What's a particular move, if it presents itself, that you like to, throw out on the mat against your competition?
Probably power half.
Power half. And then what do you hope to take from wrestling to your day-to-day life, or what have you taken from wrestling to your day-to-day life?
Probably just like the confidence and the attitude and effort section of wrestling. It makes you really grow as a person. It makes you confident and just like ready to take on anything. Everything's easy after wrestling.
Final thing for you, Isabelle, before we let you go, best trait or characteristic about this year's version of Central Cass Wrestling, what kind of comes to mind or what stands out?
Hard work and camaraderie. Everyone's just really, we're all really kind to each other, and we're definitely a family. So it's huge in wrestling.
Thanks so much for your time and best of luck moving forward here, Isabelle.
Thank you so much.
Joining us now from the Central Cass Boys Wrestling program is Ben here. And Ben, what is a trait or characteristic that you would say best describes this 2023-24 Central Cass Boys Wrestling team so far here, Ben?
Just definitely the work ethic, putting in the work to get to where we are right now.
What's your favorite wrestling memory up to this point so far here this season?
Just making state as Class B team coming up to Class A. Just putting in all the work we've done.
Yeah, when you knew that you were going to be heading to state, what's kind of going through your mind as a dual team, knowing that you're heading to that, Fargo Dome and heading to that last day of the state tournament?
We just all got to step on the mat and wrestle our hearts off.
Is there a particular move that you enjoy more so than others in wrestling in terms of if you have a chance to, throw it out there against your opposition?
Probably a power half.
Hour half. Okay. And then from there, Ben, what has been a particular favorite? We mentioned memory, but is there a particular tournament that you enjoy wrestling in outside of, state or outside of postseason in February? What's one or two that come to mind?
Definitely the Leathermans. Just staying at home. All your friends are there watching you.
And from that point, is there a particular subject in school that you enjoy more so than others?
Probably PE.
PE. Okay. Is there a game then in PE? Like, is there a basketball, baseball, name your sport, or something in between?
Dodgeball, probably.
Dodgeball, I like it. Last thing for you here, Ben. What's something as you get to the Fargo Dome that you kind of are anticipating or looking forward to most once you kind of get to the Fargo Dome?
Just wrestling my heart off, doing as best as I can, no matter what.
Ben, thanks so much for your time and best of luck moving forward.
Thank you.
Brianna Mayer joined us now here from the Central Cass Girls Wrestling Program as they take that #1 seed into that state dual tournament. And Brianna, what does it mean for you to be part of a team here that was able to win that East Region, championship on your home mat? What was that kind of like, with those emotions there in Castleton?
I'm just so happy to be part of a team that acts like a family. To even if we do ended up losing, we'd still be happy for each other no matter what.
And able to, move on. What do you enjoy the most about this year's, Central Cass Girls Wrestling Program? Way back from November to when you kind of got started with practices to where we are now in February, what's one or two things that come to mind, or what's one or two things that you enjoy most about this year's team?
Just like the improvement through all of us and the support that we all give each other through all our matches.
Favorite memory that comes to mind? Is it something at the Bell? Was it something recently at the East Region? Maybe it's something that happens in practice. So what's a favorite memory that comes to mind?
It had to be one of our duels against Fargo Stingrays. I had to go against a girl that beat me the past weekend by pinning me, and I lasted the whole 6 minutes, and she got me in the sudden victory. So she won. But after I came off, all my teammates came up to me and told me how I did a good job and how I lasted longer than I did last time.
As we kind of continue to go from there a little bit, just take us through behind the scenes. What's a practice like? How much are you guys constantly communicating, talking about particular moves or what you can do better? How much, Brianna, through a week of practice, are you guys just talking about how to improve, on particular matches once you kind of get to that, individual tournament or a dual tournament coming up?
So some practices, our coach would give us like 15 minutes after to like drill on things we need to drill. And some coaches will come up to us and help us with things they've noticed that we need to improve. And otherwise, we're just working on some moves more than one day out of a week, but just like working and making sure we're perfecting each move.
Favorite class that you enjoy most so far at Central Cass? What's a favorite class or two that you've enjoyed so far?
I'll have to say pre-calculus.
Okay.
It wasn't what I expected, but our teacher is also pretty kind, so he helps us through it.
Is there any superstitions that you have to do, like listen to a certain song or, put the right shoe on before the left shoe or anything of that before you kind of take the mat for a particular, tournament or a duel?
Not really. Just like I have to wear long socks. Like if I don't wear long socks, I can't. And then this year, me and some of my friends bought spandex that have a certain design on it, and those are lucky spandex.
How have you seen girls wrestling just kind of continue to grow within this program, Brianna? How much fun has it been the last, year or two for yourself? Just seeing maybe some other girls give this sport a chance and, continue to see grow here in Castleton.
I think it's amazing, and it's really exciting just to see how much more competition we get. And so it's not just like an easy tournament. It's actually a challenge.
Final thing for you. What are you most looking forward to once you get to that Fargo Dome for that state wrestling tournament? What are you most looking forward to?
Just being up on that podium.
Thanks so much for your time, Brianna.
Thank you.
Lois Schneider joined us now here from the Central Cast Squirrels. And Lois, for you particularly to enter the state tournament on a dual perspective as the #1 team from the East, what does it mean for you in this program this season here, Lois?
It's so cool because all of our teammates get to go to, and it's like a team event, and everyone has the opportunity to wrestle at state, which I think is just awesome.
As you kind of get ready for the Fargo Dome, what do you enjoy most about the Fargo Dome once you kind of get to that state tournament week?
Well, it's just the community has so much support for us. And especially when you're at the Fargo Dome, you look up and there's just a whole row just filled with like red, white, and black. It's just so nice to feel that, you know, these people are here to watch you. And it's just nice.
Take us back through that weekend in Castleton. Just kind of take us through the journey of you guys going as East Region champs. Just kind of take us through that day and what was kind of going through your mind as you kind of progressed from the quarters all the way to that championship.
Well, I was like really tired, so kind of want to sleep, but just taking it one match at a time and being like, okay, well, I've been working my butt off for a week now, so which it did pay off. So I was prepared.
And what's something that you've taken from wrestling, Lois, part of your normal day-to-day lifestyle? What's something you learned, so to speak, through wrestling that you've kind of taken with you day to day?
To always have a good attitude and to just YOLO everything.
Is there a particular tournament here, Lois, that you enjoy wrestling or competing in more kind of throughout the season than others?
Well, we didn't do it this year, but I really liked Rumble on the Red because it was really spaced out, a lot of good competition, and it was kind of seeing, okay, where do I need to work? Like, where am I at in the season? Do I need to bust my butt to get on top, or am I Gucci? Am I good?
And what is there something in between here, Lois, that Rumble on the Red to the state? Is there some similarities, or is it really a lot different from a wrestler's point of view?
It's a lot different, and I think people that go to Rumble on the Red are going to be like, "Oh, this is the setup of state." No, it's cut in half. It's a lot more compact. You can't just roam around on the base layer. They put you in a room and then they're like, okay, you're on deck or on board or whatever you call it. And then they send you out, which is so much different, which is kind of nerve-wracking, especially if you're first year.
Final thing for you, Lois, before you let you go. As you kind of take a look forward, what's the one thing that best describes this version of Central Cast Wrestling here in 2023, 2024?
They're really fun, as I said in my last interview, and there's just so many memories, and the hotels are fun and funny. Yeah.
Lois, thanks so much for your time and best of luck moving forward here as you get ready for state.
Good. Thank you.
Well, one of the seniors for the Central Cast Boys wrestling team with us now, that is Brady Peterson as part of our state wrestling preview show. And Brady, let's just start there. You knew coming into this season, Central Cast was going to go from that B to the A ranks. You're going to go up against EDC competition here. And as a dual team, you're able to make it to state. So how much fun was that this season, the last 3-4 weeks, kind of with your backs to the wall, knowing where you were in the EDC dual standings to keep rattling off some wins and qualify for state your first year in Class A?
I think there was a little bit more pressure on the line. I mean, you don't get that second chance like in Class B where you get to see everyone and then the tournament in the regionals to qualify for a dual team. So it was more of a one chance, one shot kind of deal. But I think our guys took the adversity that we got at the beginning of the season, losing as a dual team a bit more, and took it to fuel us to make it now.
Have you noticed anything big difference? I know that's a question I always get sometimes wrestling. If you're at a certain poundage, it shouldn't matter if you're Class A to Class Z. Have you noticed really any difference, Brady? Or is it, hey, there's new wrestlers that I don't know what they like to do, so I'm trying to learn as much as they're trying to learn me here, Brady?
I mean, it's nice wrestling newer people than I've been seeing the last few wrestlers past years being in Class B, but now being in Class A, you get to see all these people from Bismarck and whatnot. But these guys, they wrestle similar. They're wrestlers. So, I mean, I can't really say they wrestle different or whatnot, but I mean, the only difference I'd have to say is they like legs a bit more. I mean,
Brady, as you're moving on to as well from Central Cass, you'll be making your way to MSUM to continue your wrestling career as well. What just made MSUM at the end of the day be the right decision for you to move on to, D2 wrestling and just kind of continue wrestling at the next level?
I wanted to keep wrestling just because it's something I enjoy. I already talked to the coaches there, and I've already told them my plan, where it's like I don't care if I'm big starter, if I win anything large. I just want to keep getting better at wrestling, and it's something I want to keep enjoying and keep getting better at. I just felt like MSUM was a good place for me. I wanted to put the education first and not just the wrestling, because I mean, I'm a good wrestler, but I don't think I'm the best to deserve a scholarship, and that's the main reason why I'm going there. But I wanted to put the education first, and then realize that what I wanted to do was keep wrestling. It would keep me a schedule and whatnot for college, and keep me in place, keep me something busy to do. So.
And you mentioned the education side. So what are you ultimately going to go there for studying coming up in the fall once you get on the campus there at MSUM?
I am majoring in art education, so become an art teacher, whether it be elementary or high school. I don't know yet, but I'm pretty sure that their art program is very nice and will let me figure it out. So.
Yeah, very good art program. I had some of my fellow classmates at the time at MSUM go through there, and they had nice things to say. Brady, as you take a look at some of the tournaments that you've been able to wrestle in, obviously Letterman's close to home. That is the hometown tournament. But what other ones, if it is Letterman's or is it East-West, the Store Hog, or something new this year that you're able to do in the A ranks? What's a tournament that you've enjoyed the most competing at outside of what postseason wrestling comes in February here in North Dakota?
Some of the bigger Class A tournaments we weren't able to go to, sad, like East-West, but I would have to say one tournament that I did like was the Letterman's, how it was run this year, with different competition and whatnot. This year I placed third. That was the highest that I've ever placed at the Letterman's. So, I mean, just the way I wrestled there, I think that was one of my best. In Class A, other Class B tournaments I did great at as well. It's just in the Class A spectrum, I would have to say that Letterman's was my best favorite tournament this year.
What's the biggest difference from state when you're at the Fargo Dome, whether it's individual or dual, whether it's Thursday through a Saturday, compared to a Tuesday dual or compared to, a Letterman's? What makes state just unique in its own right here, Brady?
First of all, weigh-in time. I hate Tuesday weigh-ins. Come off a weekend of wrestling, then it's like, oh, no, you get one day to make weight now. So there's that. And, I mean, in duels, I feel like there's a bit more pressure to score for the team. It's not just if I win and move on. It's if I win, do I need to pin a guy? If I need to do this. Travis emphasizes that we don't need to worry about that if we wrestle first, the results will come. And they do. It's just hard to keep two scores in your brain at the same time. And then just normal tournaments, there's not as much pressure. It's loud in the Fargo Dome, extremely. And that can get on some people's nerves, and that can really help them. I mean, I like the crowd sometimes cheering and whatnot. It gives me a feeling of purpose for my wrestling, that I'm an entertainer of sorts. But no, in the Fargo Dome, it's a unique experience. I hope that every wrestler in their career can at some point experience that in North Dakota, where they can make it to state. And even if it's like, oh, I lost 2-0, like that's how I was last year. Even going through the process of wrestling there is something unique everyone should experience.
Final thing for you, Brady, before we let you go. Favorite memory up to this point? I know you still got a couple of more matches and bouts, so to speak, left before you're officially done with Central Cass. But up to this point, when we're chatting, what's been your favorite, whether it's dual, individual, whatever it might be, moment with Central Cass Wrestling?
I would have to say, like this year, or
you can go this year or any time during your tenure.
Oh man, I mean, favorite moment would probably be either looking up on the podium for the first time at state and like fourth place and realizing I like being here. I should keep doing this, keep working at it. I mean, that's something magical. I had to go through throwing somebody this year into a defensive pin would also have to be a memory up there. I didn't know what was going on, neither did he. And ref slapped the mat. It's like, oh, I won. I guess that happened. But I don't know. This year was a blur. It's hard to find a enjoyable most enjoyable moment when I've enjoyed every second of it. So,
Brady, thanks so much for your time and best of luck moving forward here.
alrighty, thank you so much.
Cheyenne Helen now joining us from the Central Cass Girls Wrestling program here. Cheyenne, for this team to, win on their home mat, so to speak, and be the East Region dual champs, what did that mean to you?
I think it means a lot for our school and our wrestling team to win regions, and it just means a lot to us.
What are you looking forward to most once you get to the Fargo Dome and compete at that state tournament?
I'm looking forward to see how everybody's improved and all the support that we get at the Fargo Dome since we're so close.
Favorite memory that comes to mind with Central Cass Wrestling so far, Cheyenne? What's one or two that come to mind for you?
I definitely think winning regions this year and last year is good memories with our team, especially with the seniors we lost last year.
What's a couple of words that best describes, a sentence or two that best describes this year's version of Central Cass Girls Wrestling?
I think we're hardworking, confident, and I think we're all strong.
And from there, is there a particular, when you see the schedule come out, is there a particular tournament or meet that you kind of look most forward to compared to other ones throughout the calendar year?
I definitely like Belle of the Brawl because we're home and it's more of a challenging tournament so we know where we need to be for state.
And for the Belle of the Brawl, how fun is it to see that grow to what it was, a couple of years ago to what it was this year, having over 300 wrestlers, Cheyenne?
I think it's crazy and it's so fun to see how much we've grown.
And talk about just the team in general. If there's someone out there that's wondering if they should do girls wrestling or not, why would be a reason that they should do it, Cheyenne?
I think the community is amazing, and I think the sport's fun, and some of the people are awesome.
Final thing for you, Cheyenne, what's a particular move that you enjoy throwing out there most if it presents itself once you go up against a opponent?
I definitely like throwing a headlock.
Cheyenne, thanks so much for your time and best of luck moving forward.
Thank you.
Well, joining us now from the Central Cass Boys Wrestling program is Adrian here. And Adrian, for you particularly, just what's a trait or characteristic that you've enjoyed the most about this year's version of Central Cass Boys Wrestling here, Adrian?
Probably the mindset and all the hard work put into it.
And from that point, what does it mean for you and this team to, advance that first duel as a Class A wrestling member in your first year? What does that mean for you?
I think it's a really good achievement for everybody, and it's just really fun to be a Class A, and it's our first year and we get to do this. I think everyone's pretty excited for it.
Give me a favorite wrestling moment that comes to mind. What's one or two for you, Adrian, that you enjoyed most?
Probably when I was down at parents' night and then I ended up pinning the kid. That was a pretty good one. And then all the support from everybody.
Take us through that. What kind of move did you throw, or what kind of was the opportunity for you to get that pin? Just kind of take us through that one.
It was really quick, but I ended up getting him in a headlock and just sinking it and just hoping that he wouldn't escape or anything.
For you, Adrian, is there a particular tournament that you enjoy wrestling in more so than others?
I kind of like the somewhat long drives because sometimes the buses can be fun and everything. And then wrestling out there is always fun, seeing new competition, people who you haven't wrestled before.
Is there a particular school subject that you enjoy most or more than others? What's kind of one that comes to mind?
Gym.
All right. So we talking dodgeball, we talking baseball. What's a game or two that you enjoy the most?
Basketball and probably Gaga ball for in gym.
Okay. So take us through Gaga ball. I've never heard of that before.
It's where you set up tables in a circle and there's a volleyball and you hit the ball at people's feet. And if you get hit, you get out. But when you're out, you can either catch the ball or throw it at someone's feet to get back into the game.
I like it. Adrian, what's something that you hope to take from wrestling kind of in your normal day-to-day life so far? What have you kind of taken from wrestling?
Probably the mindset and the work ethic.
And final thing for you, Adrian, what are you looking forward to most once you get to the Fargo Dome?
Just wrestling my matches and all the people that are going to be there, seeing some familiar faces.
Adrian, thanks so much for your time and best of luck moving forward.
Thank you.
Anna White now joining us for the Central Cass Girls Wrestling program here. And Anna, for this team to win a dual championship on your home mat, if you will, how much fun was that knowing that you're heading to state on the dual side as the number one team?
That was crazy. I had so much fun, and being home made it even better because we got to show everybody what we can do.
Outside of wrestling, what have you kind of learned from wrestling, but what have you kind of taken with you, so to speak, on your normal, school or hanging out with family and friends?
Worth ethic, and also respecting others, because you have to respect everybody you wrestle, and taking that into account, you have to respect everybody you work with or you see on your day-to-day.
From there, I know we kind of alluded to it a little bit, but how fun was it to get your 100th win, at home, and that dual championship as well, that week? And how much fun was that for you here, Anna?
It was so much fun. Honestly, I really enjoyed it.
For this particular team, what's the best trade or description that you can provide of 2023-2024 as Central Cass Girls Wrestling?
We're just so close. Like, everybody gets along with one another, and we all we talk to each other in school, and we work together and hang out. We're just really so close.
Is there a particular tournament you enjoy wrestling in more so than others, kind of when you see the schedule come out?
My favorite tournament is Rumble on the Red, but we didn't go to this one this year. But yeah.
Okay. But during your time that you've been able to go, what makes the Rumble on the Red just your favorite one here, Anna?
I like how it's so big and you get to see everybody, and it's good competition because there's people not just from North Dakota, it's from South Dakota, Minnesota. And on the guys' side, there's so many other people that come too.
So with the Rumble on the Red, how much similar or different is it compared to state once you get to state, middle part of February?
I think it's different because there's less fans at Rumble on the Red than there is at state, and it's more spread out. So at state, everything is just so compacted together.
With state coming up here, what's one thing that you look most forward to as a wrestler kind of as you get to that state tournament?
I'm just excited to be there. It's going to be so much fun.
Final thing for you, Anna, before I let you go. Favorite subject in class so far? What's been a favorite subject for you up to this point?
I really like geography.
Yeah. Anything particular with geography, like United States, world, or all the above?
Just all of it.
Awesome. Anna, thanks so much for your time and best of luck moving forward.
Thank you so much.
Joining us now, Payton Lamar here for the Central Cass Boys Wrestling team that's making it off to state. And Payton, I'm going to really start this conversation with a lot of your fellow teammates. What does it mean moving up to Class A this season, wrestling in the EDC your first year, to get to state as a dual team coming up here in the Fargo Dome later on?
It means a lot. I mean, a lot of people, a lot of teams we talked are going to try to overlook us. We're a Class B team. We shouldn't be here. But I think we kind of proved that we belong in the EDC and that we can compete with all the other teams that are there with us too.
What did you see from your squad late in the season? Kind of backs to the wall, lost a couple as the EDC doesn't have that tournament. It's all regular season, so you kind of knew you had to take care of advantage here late in January. Your team was able to do that. What did you see from all 12 guys, so to speak, on the mat that allowed this Central Cass team to, eventually get to state on the dual side?
I think everyone just we all just pulled together and everyone just started wrestling like how they do in the room every day. They all they're trying to try stuff on the mat. In the room, they're doing stuff and then they translate, they go right back out onto the mat and they're doing it and it's working and we're getting pins and wins and it translated and it worked really well towards the end of the year.
What's a trait or characteristic that you like just in general with Central Cass wrestling with boys and girls? Obviously, there's been a tremendous amount of success the last couple seasons on both sides, but what do you enjoy most about this, Payton?
Honestly, I think I kind of just enjoy the people. I think a lot of people, their memories aren't going to be the wins and the loss they had, but it's going to be the people that they do with. And I think this is probably one of the most fun teams I've ever been a part, with all our bonds from seniors down to freshmen and eighth graders. Everyone's really tight and it's a big family.
When you get to state, what makes that particular couple of days, whether it's individual or whether it's been a duel during your time here, Payton? What makes that weekend just different compared to any other time, throughout the season?
I think it's like the big part for me is just there's so many people, like the amount of people there, it's crazy. Like there's so many more mats and like there's a ton of stuff like where you can get like off track. And like I think though, like most people they get nervous. Like I think you just have to try to make it as fun as you can with your teammates and your buddies and try not to look at like win-loss. Try to make it as fun as you can during the time that you're there.
Is there anything superstitious that you have to do before you get to the mat? I mean, is there a certain song, put the left shoe on before the right shoe, anything before you get ready for, a day of wrestling that you have to do, Payton?
Not really. I guess I tape my shoes like 3 times, like with tape rolls. I go around 3 times on each shoe. I think that's pretty much the biggest thing that I do.
Up to this point, what's a favorite memory or two that comes to mind when you think about Central Cass Wrestling? Is it something with the family? Is it something with your friends? Is it a particular tournament, a bus ride? What just kind of stands out the most?
I don't know. I don't really have one favorite memory. I guess there's a ton of them I have. Like there's like the hotel night stays that are always super fun, like long bus rides up to Dahl, Burlington, or to Rugby. Like those can always be fun, and like just like different tournaments where guys get the win on an upset or a big duel where we win on the last match. There's so many different things that like I could never just pick one.
When you look at wrestling, I always like to talk to wrestlers, players in different sports that's kind of has that, coach with their parents in some capacity that you'll see watching film, when you go home for football or basketball or hockey, name your sport. Do you do the same in wrestling when it comes to a film study? How much film do you kind of watch throughout a particular season here, Payton, before you get to a particular meet or before you get to a duel?
I watch a good chunk of film. I always try to find like if I go to YouTube or like I'll look on like past matches if I've wrestled the guy to see what he does, or like I can look at my match, kind of see like, oh, I should have done this better and this and this. Like I do as much as I can to try to get the best knowledge I can on the guy I'm about to go wrestle.
What's your favorite class that you enjoy here at Central Cass so far during your time?
I don't know. There's a couple of them. I like physics that I'm taking right now. That's always a fun one. And I think just any of our like U.S. history, like government classes, those are always fun too.
Final thing for you, Payton, before we let you go. Favorite a wrestling tournament? Is it state? Is it Letterman's? Is it something else in between? What's the one when you kind of see it on the schedule and it gets a little bit closer? What's the one that you really enjoy, competing at?
I don't know. I like region individuals a lot. That's one's always really fun. You get to see everyone, like your entire team's always supporting. And then I always like the rugby tournament, getting to travel up there. I have family up there, so it's always fun getting to see them as well. I know a lot of guys don't like it because of the drive, but I always have a fun time at that tournament.
Payton, thanks so much and best of luck here moving forward.
All right, thank you.
Mitchell Melander joined us now from the Central Cass Boys Wrestling team. Mitchell, what have you enjoyed most this season with Central Cass Wrestling?
Probably winning duels, especially here towards the end of the season. Seeing where everybody started off from, seeing where some kids getting pinned in the first period, to now seeing everybody have more success than what we started out with in the beginning of the year.
Yeah, what kind of has been the difference maker? What was it about this team, in January to kind of, if you will, flip the switch? What have you kind of saw on the mat here, Mitchell?
The dedication that we put in for our team put in. We as a boys team have put a lot of hard work and dedication into the sport. Some of us stay late after practice and practice with coaches. Some just get better.
Favorite tournament that you've wrestled in up to this point? What kind of comes to mind?
The Letterman's duel, our tournament.
What makes Letterman so much fun for you? I know a lot of people have said they don't necessarily like cleaning up, Mitchell, obviously afterwards, but outside of that, what have you kind of enjoyed the most?
I remember watching older guys wrestle in the Lettermans, and I've always said how I wanted to finally place in the Lettermans tournament, and I finally did that this year.
Take us through, once you knew that you were going to place in the Lettermans, what's kind of going through your head knowing that, okay, you're going to have a chance to be on that podium?
It felt really good. Like knowing that I actually placed in Letterman's, it's a big deal to me.
And what are you most looking forward to with this team, making its way to the Fargo Dome on that dual side? What are you most looking forward to once you get to that Saturday portion of the state tournament?
I honestly can't wait. I think that we have a chance to, place at state and be like show everybody that, hey, what's up? We're from the East, and we're gonna show our best to our ability.
Final thing for you, Mitchell. How sweet was it knowing that this team was heading to that state dual tournament in your first year, competing in the EDC? How sweet was it once you officially knew that, this team as a dual squad member was, going to be moving on?
It felt amazing. Like, this is our first year in Class A. I think that nobody thought that we could stick around with these Class A schools, but we showed them that we could stick around with these Class A schools, and we proved it.
Mitchell, thanks so much for your time and best of luck moving forward.
Thank you.
Emma Dutt joining us now from the girls wrestling program here for Central Cass. Emma, how much fun and what are some memories that you've had so far this season for Central Cass girls wrestling?
It's been a lot of fun. We've just as a team, we've had so many fun memories. I like the bus ride isn't the best if it's really far, but just talking to everybody on the team, getting to know how they're doing through this season.
And for your point of view here, Emma, what's one thing that you've learned from wrestling that you've kind of taken with you, so to speak, to school or just your normal lifestyle?
One thing, never giving up. You may be going through a ton of tough times, but just push through it and it'll get way better.
What does it mean for you to be, East Region champs on the dual side and head to state as the number 1 seed? What does that mean for this program this season here, Emma?
It's so good. It's my first year, and just being able to get this far and accomplishing so much, it's awesome.
So what have you learned in wrestling in 1 year so far then here, Emma?
I've learned how to work with other people and how to succeed myself, getting better at other things.
So I'm sure you've heard a lot about state then and wrestling at the Fargo Dome and some of these postseason environments. So what are you most looking forward to once you kind of get to state tournament week here, Emma?
I'm just looking forward to get out there and getting through my match. Watching everybody cheer for me is really cool.
Has there been a particular tournament this year that you enjoyed more so than other tournaments in terms of wrestling or competing at?
I really like Bella the Brawl. It's at home, so all of your family and friends are there, and they just get to watch you.
And is there a particular subject or class that you enjoyed most so far during your time in Castleton?
I like PE.
PE? Any particular sport in PE?
I like kickball. Kickball's fun.
That's been the first one that we've heard so far here today. Emma, thanks so much for your time and best of luck moving forward.
Yes, thank you.
Joining us now from the Central Cass Boys Wrestling program is Derek here. And Derek, how much fun have you had this season from November to where we are now here in February, with that state tournament coming up around the corner? How much have you enjoyed this season with Central Cass Wrestling, with 1 or 2 moments or memories that kind of come to mind for you here, Derek?
I've had a lot of fun, especially qualifying for state, having it being our first year in Class A.
Yeah, what does that mean for you, Derek, to qualify for that state dual tournament being your first year, as you mentioned, in the EDC?
I think it's great, and it kind of sets the standard for the future of our team.
And how much was that a goal your first year in the EDC? Were you guys talking about that, a lot, saying, hey, we all have individual and team goals, but as a team, we want to get to state? Was that something that kind of got brought to the forefront back in November here, Derek?
Yeah, I think it was a pretty good goal we had to make it to state so everyone could go to state and wrestle in the dome.
What have you enjoyed most from a wrestling tournaments that you compete in throughout the season? What's 1 or 2 tournaments that you kind of look forward to once you kind of see what the schedule looks like, as you get into the schedule in November?
I like going up to rugby. There's good competition there, but I think I've wrestled pretty decent there the past 2 years.
And as you kind of taking a look ahead, how much, what are you looking forward to most once you kind of get to the Fargo Dome?
I think just competing and just wrestling there, I guess.
Is there any superstitions, Derek, that you have to do before you kind of, take part of a wrestling duel or a wrestling match at all? Do you have to do anything, 1, 2, 3, so to speak?
No, not really. Just go wrestle, pretty much.
And what's I'm not trying to have you give me your whole playbook, but what's a particular move that you like to throw out there if you can have someone in a particular spot on the mat?
Chicken wing.
Chicken wing. From there, what's your favorite subject in school, Derek?
I'd have to go foods.
Foods?
Yeah.
All right. So what's foods?
It's learning how to make foods, and right now we're learning about different spots in the U.S. and what they make there.
Okay, what's been the one food that you've enjoyed so far learning about the most in terms of how it gets processed or made?
Boston cream pie, I'd say pretty good.
I like that 100%. Derek, thanks so much for your time and best of luck moving forward here throughout the rest of the season.
Okay, thank you.
Grace Lamar now joining us from Central Cass Girls Wrestling. Grace, give us a description that best, a trait or two that best describes here the 2023-24 version of Central Cass Girls Wrestling.
Honestly, we're a lot more confident than we were the past few years, and we've grown really confident this whole year.
What does it mean for this team on the dual side to head to state as the #1 team from the East? What does that mean for this year's program?
It means a lot to us. One of our team, when I was a 7th grader, consisted of 8 people. So to see how much we've grown is really good for us.
How crazy is it to think, Grace, just a few years ago, you just had not even double digits on the mat to now where you might have wrestle-offs for people to get to their respective weight classes. How much fun has that been to see with that growth in this program?
It's been a lot of fun because you get to see a lot of new faces. Some don't stick around, but others, when you do see them stick around, you see them grow and how much commitment they have. So it's a lot of fun.
What's a tournament that you enjoyed the most wrestling in, when you kind of see the schedule come out?
Honestly, I enjoy a lot of them that we get to stay the night at. We usually, for girls, we tend to have the same people stay in a room. So when our group gets to stay in a room, it's a lot of fun.
And then as you get ready for state, what's one thing that you're look most forward to, from the Fargum to anything else throughout the season? What makes the Fargum just kind of unique in its own right here?
It's really unique because we get to see a bunch of people from our school come out and support us. And even if they're just going just to skip a day of school, they're still there. But we get to see that. And then sometimes we don't get to see all the competition in the state throughout the year. So we get to see all of that come out. And we get to see how much people have actually grown this year if we haven't seen them from the beginning of the year to now.
If someone is wondering why they should try girls wrestling, what would be a reason that you would give them, Grace, if there was like a recruiting pitch, if you will, for someone to try out the sport?
It gives you a lot more confidence in yourself. It gives you body positivity that you need. Like for teenage girls, a lot of us struggle with that. There's a lot of mental health factors to it that you get from it. It works you out, but it keeps you in shape.
Without question. And then that kind of goes to my next question a little bit too. What do you hope to take outside of wrestling? Once you kind of have that wrestling room and once you actually go on your particular matches, what's one thing that you've noticed, Grace, that you've taken outside of wrestling to your normal, just day-to-day life?
Honestly, leadership. I'm one of the captains this year. So leadership, and then also, again, confidence. I'm a lot more confident in myself than I was a few years ago. So
Final thing for you, Grace, how much are you talking wrestling in the household once you get to this time of the year? Is it like a main staple almost every conversation, or is it we're leaving wrestling at the gym and we're kind of, getting away from it and doing something else?
Honestly, at this time of the year during wrestling season, I just keep to myself. Me and my brother talk about it a lot, but we just make sure we're both doing okay, how the season is, and yeah. That's about it. We just keep to ourselves sometimes.
That's okay too. Grace, thanks so much for your time and best of luck here moving forward.
Thank you.
John Call joining us now from the Central Cass Wrestling team as they're making their way to that state dual tournament as well. Coming up here, qualifying for the first time ever in the EDC. John, how much fun have you had this season from November to where we are now? What are two memories that kind of come to mind about this year's Central Cass Wrestling team?
I've had a lot of fun with it. It's two memories that come to mind first are mostly the tournaments with all the big guys and little guys, and then the hotels like overnight. That's probably the most fun about the sport. Sport's fun. I like that part more.
And then take us through what's one thing you've kind of learned through your time in wrestling that you hope to kind of take with you off the mat, so to speak. What's one thing that kind of comes to mind?
Probably the work ethic and the mindset part of the sport. I want to take that with me.
And for this squad to make it, on the EDC side, the first year to that dual, how rewarding was that for your team to know that, hey, the first year we competed, in Class A, that we're heading there as a team on that dual side, John?
It was pretty exciting that we made it to state duals first year, Class A. It was pretty exciting for our team.
Favorite class so far? What's one or two classes that you've enjoyed your time here at Central Cass?
Oh God. Probably everyone. I like all of them.
Okay. What's a trait or characteristic? Take us behind the practice scene, so to speak, on those bus trips. What's one thing that you enjoy the most just hanging around the team? Is it just, having the opportunity to be with each other? Is it, cheering on each other? What just kind of comes to mind, John? What's one thing that you enjoy most about Central Cass Wrestling?
Probably just being with everyone. I mean, we all like each other, so it's pretty easy to get along with everyone.
Is there a particular tournament that you enjoy wrestling in or competing in most throughout the year?
Probably the Lettermans, because we don't have to travel.
And on top of the Lettermans, is there something fun just to have your home fans and home friends? Like, do you hear that from some of your family and friends that you might get a couple more watching you competing?
Yeah, I like the whole competing aspect, and traveling's okay, but I prefer staying here.
Last thing for you, John, before I let you go, what are you excited about most once you kind of get to state?
I'm not sure. Wrestling, I guess.
Yeah, gotta like wrestling in the Dome, no doubt about it. John, thanks so much for your time and best of luck moving forward.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate you.
Aubrey Quinn joining us now from the Central Cass girls wrestling team. Aubrey, how much fun have you had so far this season, knowing that on the dual side, your team will be the #1 team heading to that state tournament and able to win that East Region Championship in Castleton? How much fun has that kind of been for you here the last
It's been a lot of fun, like each duel knowing like that was our goal all year and then finally getting there. It was really good at regionals. It was super fun for the whole team.
And to do that, on your home mat, so to speak, did that carry a little bit extra weight, or just take us through the emotions of, kind of defending the home court, if you will?
Yeah, I think it was really like important that it was at our home mat, at our own school. So
and Aubrey, what are you looking forward to most coming up here at the state dual tournament coming up in 2 weeks?
I think that we're going into it seated pretty high, and I just think that we're going to do really good. So. Yeah.
Favorite memory so far to this point? What kind of comes to mind, whether it's an individual side, maybe it's something on the team side? What's the favorite memory you have with Central Cass Wrestling?
I think it's just like the friends and the environment and everything. It's just really fun, and it's a good decision that I joined the team this year.
What made you want to join the team? Was there a little recruiting, and I mean by like other teammates or other classmates? Were they trying to have you come out for a practice or two? Just take us through that journey.
Yeah, a little bit. So I went to state last year, and I just really liked the environment and like how everything was run and how it all worked. So I knew that I wanted to join last year, and then a few of my friends were also in it. So I think that really helped them trying to get me to join.
If someone's kind of where you were a year ago, wondering if I should do wrestling or not, what would be a reason or two so far that you would give them a reason why they should join?
It's just a really good environment. It's like the team is like a family. Everybody's super close. And then it doesn't hurt to try it out, see if you like it. Just go to practice a few times and see how you like it.
So far to this point, Aubrey, what's one thing that you've kind of learned from wrestling that you hope to take with, outside of the wrestling mat, if you will, or outside that practice?
Just that it's like a lot about mindset. So like if you don't do good one time, you'll do good the next time, and just like keep practicing and keep trying, even if you don't do good in the beginning.
Are you superstitious at all? Do you have to do anything before you kind of get to a particular individual meet or anything of that nature?
Nope, I'm not superstitious at all.
Final thing for you, Aubrey, before you let you go, what's a trait or characteristic that you've enjoyed the most about this team from November to where we are here in February? What have you enjoyed the most this season?
I just think it's good that like we keep our mindset really high, and like if we fail, we just keep trying to get better throughout the season.
Thanks so much for your time, Aubrey.
Yep, thank you.
Grady Link now joining us, part of our Central Cass Boys State Wrestling preview show. And Grady, what have you enjoyed most about this 2023-24 version so far of Central Cass Boys Wrestling?
I think I've really just enjoyed how close the team is, and we're all really good buddies, and we like hanging out with each other. So I think that's what I like most of all.
How fun is it for you and this squad the first time, in the EDC competing to head to a state tournament on the dual side? Just take us through once you knew that, okay, we're heading there. What was kind of your mindset knowing that as a team you're heading to state?
I really think I just like shocking everyone. Nobody expected this. And so I just like proving people wrong. And, they think, a Class B school, I mean, just we're not going to be anything. We just are trying to be something we're not. But, we went out there and we proved what we are, and showed them that, Class B is not just a joke. So that's what I think.
Last 3 to 4 weeks of the season, you guys kind of had to win a lot, almost all your duels to make it to state. What did you like about your team's wrestling in those duels here, Grady? The last kind of month of the season before you get to that dome.
I think the big thing is nobody giving up. Like we give up points, we give up pins, we give up takedowns, but everyone's really resilient, and we don't back down from a challenge. A guy's got a hard match, they're looking at it, knowing it's going to be a tough one, but you go in there, you give it your best effort, no matter what, no matter who it is.
Grady, as we get to the Fargo Dome here, what do you enjoy most about a state tournament compared to any other tournament throughout the season?
I think I really like the support from the community. I mean, it's not a super far drive. You got a lot of friends and family that come, and it's added pressure, but I think that added pressure helps.
Favorite memory so far to this point would be what? What kind of comes to mind with Central Cass Wrestling?
I think we like to cut our duels close. So a lot of our closer duels in the past couple years, 2 years ago and last year, just being region champs and then coming up to Class A and making it to state as a dual team again is some of my best memories.
What do you hope to kind of take from wrestling, or what have you taken from wrestling, part of your, kind of day-to-day lifestyle here, Grady?
I think how hardworking you have to be and the determination. I mean, wrestling's a really hard sport, and some of the sacrifices that we have to make are like no other sport. And I think anybody can take that into their career and just future life.
Favorite tournament? What is it outside of obviously state, but what's one of your 2 favorite wrestling tournaments during your time that you've been able to compete in?
I think my favorite one is Deluxe Burlington. I do not look forward to the drive there at all, but I don't know, something about that tournament. Just for some reason, I like wrestling there, and I wrestle good now.
Final thing for you, Grady, superstitious. Do you have to do anything before you get to a dual meet, or anything before you take the mat on a particular day?
Really not. I don't do anything specific, but lately I've been having to run a lot, just to make weight, but that's just a kind of this year thing. But other than that, I just kind of go out there and give it my best.
Grady, thanks so much for your time and best of luck moving forward.
Thank you.
Gracie Koch joined us now here, part of our state wrestling preview show. Gracie, what have you enjoyed most this season? What are some memories or 2 that come to mind about Central Cass girls wrestling here this season?
Probably watching my friends wrestle and having a good time.
How much fun has it been to know that as a dual team that you're heading to state, you're going to compete on that last day of the state tournament? How much fun was that, East Region tournament for you, and what kind of came to mind that you best enjoyed about, that version of Central Cass Wrestling?
It was fun to see my friends wrestle, and I enjoyed watching the girls win, and I guess now we're moving on to regionals.
And Gracie, for you particularly here, what have you learned most from wrestling that you kind of take with you on your normal day-to-day life? What's one thing that you've learned from wrestling that you kind of keep with you?
I guess being there, and I enjoyed having my first year with everyone. And yeah, that's kind of it.
And it's your first year, as you mentioned. What kind of made you go out for wrestling this year here, Gracie? What kind of gave you the spark or the energy to, give it a try this year?
All my friends been saying you should join because one of them seen me wrestle my brother, and they're like, you should join wrestling. So I was like, okay.
And if someone's in that same spot that you were a year ago, what would you tell them the reason that they should, give it a shot?
I'd say it's fun to get out there and wrestle, and then like once you're done with that match, like it's just fun to get it over with your first match.
Is there a particular class that you've enjoyed more so far this season learning about?
Probably PE or social studies.
Okay. And then what's a particular wrestling move that you enjoy the most if it presents itself to have an opportunity out there against your opposition?
Probably the wing.
Wing. I like it. Gracie, thanks so much for your time and best of luck here moving forward.
Thank you.
Mallory DeVries now joins us here on our Central Cast Wrestling preview show. And Mallory, for your squad to enter the state East region, number one seed, so to speak, from the East region to head state as that one seed, what does it mean to you in this program this season?
It's like a really big accomplishment because it shows that we've all worked really hard to get there, and we've proven that we've deserved it.
And from your standpoint here, Mallory, to do that, just take us through what the day was like in Castleton, winning the championship on the East Region duels, on your home mat. Just take us through what that kind of day was like for you.
Well, at first it was really nerve-wracking, but once the tournament itself started, it felt really awesome because you had the entire team there to support you.
What's something that you've taken from wrestling as part of your, day-to-day lifestyle here?
It probably has to do with in the room when you're practicing, you can mess up all you want, but you always come back the next day to try again. And it's taught me a lot about even if you mess up once, you can always try again.
What are you most looking forward to once you kind of get to that Fargo Dome? What do you enjoy most about state?
Probably the support that comes with it. Through the season, you don't really expect to hear much from your friends and stuff, but once it comes to the actual state, you get a lot of support from people you probably wouldn't normally talk to, and a lot more support from your teammates and coaches.
What makes February wrestling just different and unique during this time of the schedule compared to November, December, January here, Mallory?
Probably the competitiveness. People are starting to get a lot more competitive and into it since it's the end of the season and it's state, rather than they're just tournaments you can test moves out on and new things in.
Is there a particular tournament in the regular season that you do kind of enjoy wrestling at compared to other ones? Is there one or two that comes to mind?
Probably Letterman's or Bell of the Brawl.
Okay, what have you enjoyed most about Bell of the Brawl and Letterman's compared to maybe some other tournaments here, Mallory?
Just being able to see my friends wrestle.
And how fun is it to see your friends or some others come out for girls wrestling at Castleton there to see what that program's kind of built into? How much do you talk with other girls or recruiting other girls, or just kind of take us through what that progression's kind of been like the last couple of years, Mallory?
It's really exciting to see everyone come out and wrestle, and I try to talk to as many girls in my weight class as I can. And I know I've tried to convince a few of my friends to join wrestling, and it's worked for a few of them.
And final thing for you, what would you say to someone who's on the fringe a little bit, wondering if I should try wrestling or not? What would be a reason that they should go out for it here, Mallory?
It's definitely a confidence booster, and there's not really you can gain a lot from it, but you can't really lose anything from trying. So if they wanted to try, I'd say just go for it.
Mallory, thanks so much for your time and best of luck moving forward.
Thank you.
Well, joining us now from the Central Cast Boys Wrestling program is Hunter with us. And Hunter, first things first, how much fun have you had so far here this season with Central Cast Wrestling, going back to November to where we are now, knowing that as a dual team, you're heading to state this season?
It's been a lot of fun, especially with all the seniors and all the fun times on the bus rides and all that.
Yeah, take us through what's been your most enjoyable moment so far here this year? Has it been a bus ride somewhere? Has it been something at Letterman's or somewhere in between?
It's kind of been these pens this year and doing way better than last year.
Best trait or characteristic about this year's squad, what kind of comes to mind for you?
Kind of hardworking.
And And Hunter, what is a particular tournament that you enjoy wrestling in? Is it Letterman's? Is it something out west? What's a tournament that you just can always circle on your schedule?
Probably Deluxe because it's a long bus ride, but it's really fun like to go there.
What do you enjoy most about the Lax tournament outside of the long bus ride and seeing some new competition?
It's kind of like the hard competition you get there, and the amount of like people you get in your bracket.
And once you get to this time of February, what have you noticed, in the wrestling room, or what do you notice compared to November as a wrestler? What just kind of comes to mind once you think of February wrestling in North Dakota?
A lot of people got way better than when they started out the season.
Without question. Is there a particular subject that comes to mind that you enjoy most from a school standpoint here, Hunter?
Probably English.
All right. Are we talking like English lit? Are we talking any particular books, writing? What kind of comes to mind with English?
Kind of the class in general.
I like it. Final thing for you, Hunter. What are you looking forward to most as you head to that state dual tournament coming up?
The food.
So the food. All right. Is that any food in the Fargo Dome, or is that food after the tournament is done so you guys can not have to worry about weight?
Every time I go to the Dome, I always get Dippin' Dots. So
I like it. Hunter, thanks so much for your time and best of luck moving forward.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, join us now from the Central Cass wrestling program is Jennings Koenig here. And Jennings, for you particularly, what have you enjoyed most so far this particular season with Central Cass wrestling as we kind of get ready for that state tournament coming up around the corner?
I've really enjoyed all the practices and how much work we put in the room, and how, even if you start at a point you don't want to be in, you always are continuously working and getting better in the room.
For you, what does it mean to, make state as a team on that dual side the first year that you were competing in the EDC?
It's really big. We showed up people that some people think we shouldn't have. It's kind of proving to all the, big old Class A schools that we can still compete.
And from that standpoint, what do you enjoy most kind of during the month of February for wrestling compared to any other time of the year? What just kind of stands out to you a little bit here, Jennings?
Really just how everybody's focused. Everybody throughout the season, everybody kind of has highs and lows, but during February, everybody's focused. They're trying to get better. Everybody knows what the end goal is, so everybody's trying to work towards a similar one.
And once you go from there to a particular tournament, what's one that you always enjoy wrestling in? Is there one more tournament that comes to mind that, is a regular season tournament that's not a postseason one here, Jennings?
Probably Letterman's, just because, it's close to home. All the friends and family can come out. You have you can have, friends from school come out that may not be able to come out to, if you're wrestling rugby or Bismarck and all. So just the support that you get from everybody in the school helps.
And the particular one with Letterman's, you also had to do some, I would say, work in quotes with the Bell, the Brawl. How cool is it to, have a couple of those tournaments from a boys and a girls standpoint, in your hometown where you don't have to worry about traveling to a Mandan or Grand Forks? How fun is that for you as a wrestler?
It's nice. It's a sense of community to be able to have everybody around, everybody cheering on everyone, to have, just the overwhelming feeling of everybody being there on one side is awesome.
Take us through a particular move that you enjoy the most. I'm not trying to give you the playbook, so to speak, out there for your opposition, but what's a move that you just, if you can execute it and it comes there for a shot or a throw, what kind of comes to mind?
I really like either a duck under or just getting into an underhook and working stuff off of that.
And as you kind of go through a particular about your match, what goes through your head right when you hear that whistle, the very first time when you get things going on that first period?
Really just got to work. It doesn't matter if you win or lose. It really just matters. Get points up on the board. Don't give up. Constantly be working. If you're constantly working, and you lose, so be it. But if you give up and all, that can't happen.
Final thing for you, Jennings, trait or characteristic that you enjoy the most with Central Cass Wrestling during your tenure so far? What's the one thing that stands out more so than the others?
Effort. Everybody puts in 100%. Everybody's working. If you don't, we'll call you on it. There's a sense of accountability with the whole team. Everybody's trying to work towards that. So everybody has a certain, just drive in their mind. It's a certain effort to get to a certain place.
Jennings, thanks so much for your time and best of luck moving forward.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Jaden Jacobson joining us now here from Central Cass Girls Wrestling. Jaden, how much fun and what have you enjoyed most so far about this season here for Central Cass Girls Wrestling?
I love how much this sport grew from I remember when I was a seventh grader, I remember we had one of the most people on our team, and now it's a lot of other girls started to join wrestling from other places, and they seem to enjoy it, and it's an even number now.
And for you here, Jaden, what's one reason why someone should come up for girls wrestling? I guess after a couple for you, kind of competing it now, what would be a reason why someone should come out for it?
It's worth a try. In seventh grade, I was gonna give it a try, and I fell in love with it.
And from there, what's been a particular tournament or what's been a particular just meet that you kind of circle on the calendar that you look forward to most?
I usually look forward for Letterman's.
Is there any particular reason why Letterman's kind of stands out more so for you than others?
It's fun to watch everyone wrestle, boys, girls, and to cheer on your team.
And from there, Jaden, what did it mean for this team this year to be East Region dual champs? What did it mean to you?
I felt pretty proud because it's I felt pretty proud because a lot of our girls worked hard. They've pushed themselves to do this, and it made me feel pretty proud of them.
What are you looking forward to most once you kind of get to that Fargo and that state environment?
Mainly the food.
Any particular food that you're looking forward to?
Smoothie stands.
Okay, smoothie stand. That's pretty good. Final thing for you, Jaden. Best trait or characteristic about this year's team. What kind of comes to mind?
The mentality our team has and the coaches, and help us to improve a lot. And we get to make fun of our coaches sometimes, so that's always good.
Jaden, thanks so much for your time and best of luck moving forward. Cade Olson-Tinglestead joining us now here from the Central Cass Squirrels. Cade, what does it mean for the dual team this season, to head to state, being its first year in Class A dual competition?
Well, it's great. I mean, just being that first year in Class A, moving up from Class B and it being our first year here, it's a great showman of our ability.
And take us through what kind of comes to mind, a characteristic that best describes this year's version of Central Cass Wrestling?
Honestly, I'd say the main thing for us has been improvement. At the beginning of the year, we had a lot of guys, younger guys, just starting in the lineup, and we're giving up pins where we shouldn't be. And then middle to end of the year, we've been getting way better, not giving up those pins, changing matches from majors to minors. And even if we're still losing the match, we're still scoring right at the end and changing those matches and changing the dual score ultimately.
What's been the kind of the secret sauce, if you will, this last month, right? Because you had to have a lot of duels that had to go in your favor in the conference standings, and they did. What's been working well for this team here, Cade?
I mean, honestly, we just had a bunch of trust in each other. And like I said before, that improvement, I mean, we've been working every day, and, it shows when you see kids that are getting pinned in the first, second period and in the beginning of the year. And now they're, making it full 3 periods, not getting pinned. And then take it to the next step. It's not getting majored or teched. It's, just a minor, or they're even winning matches or pinning their kids.
From here, okay, what's a favorite memory to this point during your wrestling career that you kind of, have as one, or what's one ace, so to speak? What's a couple that come to mind?
Well, I'd say probably favorite memory would be probably last year at region duels. Just winning that was great, and just hearing the crowd's reaction to that. But then, even after that at state, facing Carrington again, we ended up losing the duel, but for me individually, going out, facing a state place winner or state finalist, state champion, and, just giving my all against him, against a kid that I've never faced in my life, and just trying my hardest against him. And ultimately we still lost the duel, but, just bumping up to him and trying our hardest.
As a fans out there, you mentioned about hearing the crowd erupt. Do you kind of zone them out when it's actually your particular duel? I mean, when it's your time to come, on the mat, when it's your weight class, what kind of comes to mind here for you, Kate? Just take us through how much are you hearing of the ambiance in a particular room or in a particular, environment?
Honestly, I think the loudest thing is the silence. When you're like, if you've ever been in a finals match or, in like at Storehog, I can remember, when I was in the finals one year, it's just, you can hear how quiet it is. And it's an amazing feeling, honestly. For state duels and region duels, if you win a duel, obviously the crowd's going to erupt, and that's a great feeling to hear, especially if you're that last match and you're the deciding factor, so to speak. But it's always a great feeling. But when I'm in that actual match, I am not hearing a word anybody's saying except my coaches.
And from that point here, Kate, what are you most looking forward to once you get to that ambiance and some more, screaming and yelling once you get to the Fargo Dome? What are you looking forward to most once you get to state?
Honestly, I'm just looking forward to seeing all the support, all the people that'll show up and take that extra day off of school and, come and see us wrestle. And, honestly, walking up in the stands to go talk to your parents, and you walk by all your students in your school, and they just say hi and good job or whatever. And you're like, dang, I didn't know why you guys were actually like watching me. And so it's just nice to see.
Hey, Kate, thanks so much for your time and best of luck here moving forward.
Thank you.
Joining us now from Central Cass is Caden Graber with us here. And Caden, I'm kind of going to continue to start these conversations on the boys' side here. First year, you're in the EDC. First year that you're able to qualify on the dual side. What does it mean for you and this team to be heading to state, as the first year in the EDC and Class A to be making it to that state dual meet?
It means a lot. There's a lot of good competition here, a lot of good teams. A lot of people, I don't think, thought we would make it to the duels our first year here. And it's nice to make it, and just kind of prove some people wrong.
As you kind of go through this season here, Caden, what's been a trait or characteristic that you like most about this Central Cass wrestling team so far here this season?
Definitely hardworking. I think we work really hard, to get where we are, and it's just it's cool to see.
And to that standpoint, is there a favorite memory or two that kind of comes to mind more so than others during your time with Central Cass Wrestling?
I'd have to say last year we had a close duel at state with Northern Lights. It was that one was a good one. It came down to all of the I don't know the word for it, but it came down. It was really close, and we won, and it was just cool.
What makes state wrestling, Caden, so much more different than any other moment that you're wrestling throughout the season?
Definitely being in the dome, having all those people there. It's just a way different atmosphere, and it's a big difference.
What's a particular move? I'm not trying to have you give away the playbook, if you will, but what's a particular move that you most like, using once you get to the mat? What are we talking about here?
Probably just a simple double or a blast double.
Okay. And then from that particular point, is there a particular tournament that you enjoy wrestling in more than others, whether it's Letterman's or some of the tournaments during your time? What kind of comes to mind when you're able to get to a tournament on a weekend that you enjoy wrestling at that's not postseason wrestling here, Caden?
I definitely like the Letterman's tournament, the home tournament. It's nice to have your own locker room, just place to be. It's more comfortable, definitely, and you just know your way around.
And Caden, what do you enjoy most about the dual side that's a little bit different than the individual side? What do you enjoy most when, whether it's your time waiting or, cheering on for your teammates there? What do you enjoy most about the duels?
Having the whole team there and cheering each other on, having certain teammates telling you what to do. I feel like it makes it a lot. It's just a lot better. I feel like, you've all your teammates there.
And thanks so much for your time and best of luck here throughout the rest of the season.
Yep. Thank you.